There's a book in America called The Art of the Deal by President Trump. And the art of the deal is all of the meanderings, the workings, the process, the methodology in getting a deal done. The art of it. Think about it, the art of it. Meaning it's not loosely put together, it's not cavalier, it's creative, it's intelligent design, it's a craft, it's artistry. We all love to gaze upon artistry. We love to see beautiful ceramic pieces, beautiful painted canvases, beautiful sculpted stones, and plated food, culinary artistry, clothing, even architecture. We love the art of it. Everything is rather artistic. The world was created artistically, not autistic, artistic. And the beauty of the Grand Canyon, the desert, the valleys, the streams, the mountain peaks, the forests, absolutely beautiful. We call it landscape. And we all try to escape what we make for landscape. You know, they tell you when you want to get away, you don't get out of the forest to go to the city. You get out of the city to go to the forest. So grounding yourself with the art of something, the art of words, speaking well, putting together great orations. You are an orator. You are a great communicator. The art of writing. Wonderful poems. Wonderful Psalms of David. So, what about the art of the decision? The art of the decision. The process of coming to a decision and choosing what to do. There's an artistry in that. And the way you put together your logic and your reason, the way you ration, the way you come together and have a discussion and a conversation so beautifully. You ever watch two people sitting down and talking and you could just listen to them, the art of it, the way they communicate, the way they listen, and the words they choose. They call that in politics diplomacy. How you approach the Lord, how you speak to the Lord, and how you speak to one another. The art of listening to a beautiful conversation. We all know how to listen to a beautiful speaker, but a beautiful conversation. Two people whose words are carefully, sincerely, and authentically chosen, but you can tell that they are choosing their words carefully. There's an artistry in that. They're not just throwing paint on the canvas and splashing it. Well, some people do. The modern artist, they call it modern art. You can have it. But classical art is artistically, carefully, thoughtfully put together. And people used to speak well. People used to think well. They're careful with their thoughts, even their emotions. You've seen the art of emotion? You know, the ones that are just screaming and hollering and they cannot even artfully be angry. They cannot be artfully loving. They say too much. They don't say it well. They say too little and they don't say anything. But people that speak carefully with their words, whether in anger or solemnity, it is beautiful to have the art of it because the Lord is the creator, the origin of how to do things well. He said it is good. He didn't just throw things together. Oh, let's see how it comes out. Oh, let's put this in. He didn't just write anything. He didn't just say anything. It's done gracefully, beautifully, like a ballet or an ice skater, wonderfully and beautifully. You see it in nature with the bees, the pollinators, wonderfully and beautifully. We definitely see it in the clouds or migrating birds. All of the beauty of the formation. So wonderful to make decisions that way.
And that is why we know that nature itself is evidence of God. Because there is nothing random about it. Everything suggests a decisive mind that created things intentionally. The cycles. The bees come to the plant. They pollinate, they make honey. They enable one another. The flowers give that beautiful, wonderful gift to the bees, and the bees give the most beautiful gift to the plant by, enabling the plant to procreate. You got these symbiotic relations all throughout nature. You see it with the trees, you see it with the plants, with the animals. You know how many animals work together with one another? Different kinds that you would never suspect any commonality between the two, except that they have this unity in the way they conduct their lives. It is so artistic to watch. And not to mention the ecological system, the clouds, how they form. You've never seen two clouds alike. Each one is as if God drew them by hand with a brush in the most beautiful blue sky. Why is the sky blue? Everything is by design. You go even further, look at the stars, the galaxies, the constellations. Every astronomer would tell you there is a design in that. That's why all these crazy astrologers think there's meaning to it. If you're an astrologer, you have to believe in God, or else why would there be any meaning to the way the stars are aligned? Some said that the universe actually mimics the same neurological path we see in the brain. The way the neurons connect is how galaxies form. Everything is so beautiful. Not to mention, like I said, the neurons inside our own mind. You can go big, you can go small. On every level, the macro and the micro, the physical and the quantum. Everything is crafted with such great intelligence. The beauty of creation, David said, the beauty of the Lord, just look how wonderfully I am made, wonderfully and fearfully I am made in the image of the Creator.
Amen. God, isn't that beautiful? It's like a waltz, not a hip hop dance, but a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You have that waltz, that beautiful waltz. There's no chaos. There's so much grace and love in it. I know a lot of you like that hip hop crazy mess, but if you've ever seen a waltz, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers dancing a waltz, it's much holier. And the beauty of it, it's like feathers floating on air. The waltz with God. Enoch walking in the garden. Adam, just walking the waltz. And what is a waltz but a walking dance? Some don't even know how to walk, much less waltz. But if you can learn how to walk, you can learn how to waltz. Walk well, think well, speak well, live well, dance well, and then make decisions without neuroticism and irrationalism and emotionalism. Make them carefully, gracefully, mercifully, and beautifully. And above all, take your time. Don't be in a rush. And you'll make something beautiful.
Remember, like I said, you were created in His image. You, you are the child of the Father. The Father created the Son to do what He does, except He wants you to be like Him, to do it with holiness, purity, righteousness. You know, it's one thing for you to create and think you've done something. It's another thing for you to create something and make your daddy proud. Look, Dad, look what I made. That's wonderful, son. I'm very proud of you. Wouldn't you just love to hear those words coming from the only Father, the only authority, the one who made everything? To hear him say he is proud of what you've created because you were created by him to create? Think about it. We often talk about the gift that keeps on giving, right? It's like this term. Well, you're the creation that keeps on creating. We are the pipeline for his ever expanding kingdom. He wants you to create. He wants you to do these things. That's why you have brain and brawn, your hands, your mind, to come up with these most creative things. And we do. We create all sorts of things, don't we? But the thing is that, remember, be holy. Honor your father and your mother in the way you create and conduct your life. Do not be vulgar and wicked. Do not glorify the things of darkness. When you create beautiful, peaceful art, like Stephen says, some people just toss some stuff, they call it art. It's a mess. Not to mention when they used dark colors and start coloring and painting all kind of demonic things. That's not right. Now you have that right because the Father gave it to you, but why would you bring such dishonor on your Father who made you and loves you?
And we do that, don't we, with so much in life. There's disorder and chaos. Many of you are raising your children in disorder and chaos. And it's sad to watch. Sad to watch children being raised with disorder and chaos, screaming and clashing. It is horrible. It's one of the worst things that you could possibly think of because you can expect it in the world, but you don't want to come home to it. Or what about live in a home and be raised with it? It destroys your spirit and your humanity because where there is no peace, there is no art, no real art. Art is supposed to be with order, calmness, and peace. And if you don't have peace within yourself, you cannot help but produce chaos, confusion, destruction, malevolence, evil. Because peace is not born out of disorder. Peace begets peace. Order begets order. He didn't take chaos and create order. He didn't take randomness, create providence. His origin was always order. Peace was always peace. So you have to learn the art of that. And it's really when you stop forcing it. Because remember, when you force things, you create greater resistance and greater disorder. We always try to force things, rather it's a conversation or things we do in the world to produce energy, forceful energy. There's a particular discipline of martial arts that teaches greater force by not using force, but allowing. Allowing. It's hard to kick against the pricks, but when you flow and go with that flow, not saying going with the crowd or just go along to get along, get along to go along, but it's find that natural order that is designed by our Lord and Creator. Because when you're thinking in the natural order, not the forceful. The forceful one is bias and prejudice, hate, anger, lust, your own desire. But the natural flow is the Lord. It takes time, but you got to start practicing it sometime. So why not learn the art of the decision today? Start today. Tell yourself, I'm going to learn how to make a decision beautifully, orderly, carefully, and slowly. I'm not just going to splash words and toss things. I often say when the Japanese hand you something, they hand it to you with both hands. They don't throw it at you, toss it at you. And they bow a little when they give it to you. Beautiful. The presentation, not rushed in the back of a crazy Hell's Kitchen, banging and clanking and trying to create something beautiful for you to eat with your wife or your husband or your children in a restaurant that came out of a chaotic kitchen. And yet so many people do. But imagine if there's peace and order, nobody being rushed and screamed at by a restaurant manager because they got to get those plates up, make some money. And you're eating that food with that energy. But something carefully made, slowly made. Nobody's rushing to make money. Food and fellowship should be made like fellowship. So make a decision. Make it carefully, make it slowly, make it calmly, make it artfully. Hallelujah.